Well, hello everybody. This is Don with the vlog of many things, and to my
I'm Tom.
left or right,
I know. I get that whole stage. This is easy. I just got to point up.
it's us,
It's us.
It's
Eric. Tom, how you doing tonight?
Hello.
Doing good. Started back at work again.
Good.
So I'm tired. I'm like, oh, geez, I hate getting up early in the morning.
Getting up early in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah, you got time to make the donuts, man.
Tonight, what are we talking about, Tom?
Skynet. Skynet's here, attacking gamers.
10 cent. 10 cent? Is it tech?
Hey, worldwide Goji Akai.
TechNet?
I love this guy. He's a Star Frontiers fan. And, and he hit the nail on the head there.
Carrie, how you doing? All right. I'll let you guys handle the front end of this one. What the hell happened? What is the background on this? Tom, Eric, take it away.
Well, Eric came up with the piece of news and alerted me to it. So I'll let Eric take it away first.
Well, actually, I got this piece of news because, and of course, I should probably go backwards and get right back to the topic. David Shepard, Big Mac, reached out to me on Discord and said, hey, we had a denial of service attack at the Piazza, and you might want to spread the word. And it isn't just like last night when I was doing my live stream, I had douchebags in denial trying to attack who were typing out DDoS. Like somehow that makes it a denial of service attack.
Real quick. Okay, just so everybody knows this in the audience. A DDoS attack is basically where a server is slammed with requests. And actually, for those idiots out there who do this and think that they're cute, if you want to go ahead and have the FBI investigate you quicker than threatening the president on live TV, do a DDoS attack and brag about it, because my friend Steve, who is a senior level security guy at Liquid Web, which is a major ISP, says that is the one thing that the feds will actually get immediately involved in if they find out it's happening. So that's a real dumb thing to do. It's very serious.
So you got hit with a DDoS attack.
No, I didn't. I got hit with an idiot attack.
They were saying it.
Yeah. They were saying that in the chat, spamming it. DDoS, DOS.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, I mean, it'd be terrible for somebody to point it out to the feds.
And came onto my property. But this actually was 2 or 3 waves of bots to hit their server with excessive amounts of simultaneous download requests.
Yep.
Causing the server to hand out to time out, essentially.
Yeah. It's serious shit. I mean, it can really cause havoc.
Well, they were able to track down information about the bot IP addresses that made tens of thousands of requests today alone, and they come back to Tencent.
Yeah.
Now, if people don't know who Tencent is, it's a major Chinese company involved in the computer industry. They own a share or a percentage of Larian, the ones that put out Baldur's Gate 3.
Yep,
they were
Baldur's Gate 3.
About to buy out Larian, but they didn't. So, as was stated on the Piazza, some of the IP addresses were hitting our server were based in the U.S., others in Singapore, draining bandwidth that traced back to an organization called Tencent. and they believe it was a coordinated effort. Intentional or not, it was a denial of service attack. But here's the interesting part, and this is why I think it's interesting and notable for everybody who has a website or a forum in gaming. The most probable reason for this is that Tencent just launched an AI chatbot called Yanbao.
Yanbao, yep.
AI, and they need data to fill up the chatbot, and apparently that's what they're doing. So, just get the word out. You have friends on N-World, Dragon's Foot that are admins. Yeah. Forewarned is forearmed. If they're going, I don't think that they went into it with the idea of let's shut the site down. They were just like, go get everything, and they're going to get everything.
But the funny thing is, this really breaks into something about AI. If you're telling AI, as an example, to go collect info, join a site, go collect info.
Yes.
That AI then is taken upon itself to do more. Yeah. So, I mean, we laugh about it right now, but let me ask this question among everybody, including our watchers. 4 years ago, was AI really on much of our radar, as you know, in anything? Look how quick AI has become so much in our face and in the primary. Can you imagine another 12 months, 18 months? I mean, I'm not trying to sound Orwellian, but, you know, AI, you know, there's going to be, I think it's coming soon where you ain't going to want to piss it off.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, call me conspiracy theory all guy you want. Real quick, Science Smile, thank you for tuning in. I think Science Smile's new here, guys. He says, doesn't Tencent offer anti-DDoS services? Hard to believe that it can't be considered protection racket if they're also doing the DDoSing. Yes. And also, real quick, Science Smile made a really good point. Backtrace it and call the cyber police. Consequences will never be the same. Yeah, he knows about it. Not that he does it. I'm saying that Science Smile understands that. I'll tell you what, they don't screw around the feds with DDoS attacks. That is a very serious thing.
Well, I was doing a little poking into Tencent, and
you didn't piss it off, did you?
Well, I'm about to get us slammed by a Chinese bot for sure. Tencent, there was some news sites that were talking about Tencent making it seem like it was not a Chinese company when it is. You know, and they're like, it's trying to compete with other Chinese tech firms. Tencent owns WeChat, Wezhen. Okay, they own, which is the biggest app in the world. It's got 1 billion active monthly users.
Keep chatting, guys. I got a question to ask my buddy.
Sure. Yeah. So they've linked this Yanbao to WeChat, and it's as an AI assistant for those 1 billion. Now, probably we're talking Chinese users in China, but I mean, they're making it, and I'm reading some of these. And it makes me go, is this company owned by a Chinese cutout? It's owned by a cutout, owned by a Chinese firm that's reporting and making it seem very harmless. Oh, Tencent, they're just trying to keep up with the Joneses. Tencent is actually very scary because they are considered one of the best companies. If you have 3 Communist Party member employees, you must have a board, a CCP board within your company. They are considered one of the best companies towards the Communist Chinese Party. They give the equivalent of $1 million towards CCP events throughout the year. I mean, they've been buying up Tesla. They own 5% of Tesla now. They've been. You mentioned the company that. Put out Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
This is scary.
There were rumors that they were trying to buy the D&D IP.
And
Yeah.
any time that's the Chinese Party, the Chinese Communist Party says, "Hey, we would like the information you have access to." What do you think happens with a company that's so far up the butt of the Chinese Communist Party with its nose, brown nosing?
Well, I just asked my buddy about Tencent,
Okay.
and this is what he said. I asked him. I said, "Hey, Steve, have you heard of a company called Tencent?" And this is what his response was to me in Discord. He said, "Oh heck yes, they're what we call a level 1 threat to our entire ISP service. They have their fingers in a lot of bad things, and they're considered bad actors, including artificial intelligence. They're really heavily dosed in, and they've been, we believe, responsible for several DDoS attacks that have been happening in the last 72 hours, coming from China, Singapore, Thailand, and France."
In France. Nice. Yeah, I've not read anything good about this company, and we're putting the word out. So I mean, just expect to be.
Hey, and today's Skynet Day, evidently. Gunther, thank you for letting us know. I didn't
Well,
know that. Honestly, we didn't know.
I am wearing my Cyber9 Systems hat.
Oh, so you knew about this and you didn't let us know in it, and we're your partners here on video.
No,
Eric, we got to do something.
I was posting quotes from Terminator 1. And I was like, yeah. Oh, by the way, Don, I'm going to refer to this as Skynet. Can't be helped. In fact, now that I found some missing miniatures, I got to go look for. Somebody had given me some Necrons, 40K Necrons. I got to go look for those because those are great Terminator stand-ins. And so I got to find that box.
But Eric's right. I mean, this is serious. Like last night, they were just. I think we know it's the common actors that always go after me, you, and Eric. But DDoS. That sounds. I'm just going to be mean and say it. That sounds like a Johnson thing to say, that he comes in, tries to intimidate. He can barely spell DDoS, let alone know what it means. And the thing is they were still going into your live stream trying to interrupt it.
Yeah.
Right. I found it actually amusing.
Oh yeah, it was funny, and it was funny to watch you shut it down as well.
Yeah, I didn't have to say a word. There was no acknowledgement during the live stream of it. I just went, "Oh, okay." Block and delete, block and delete, block and delete. What do you think? And this is just a rhetorical question. What do you think that actually accomplishes? There's a reason why I always say, if you're going to do a live stream, always do it with a guest or other hosts, so you have one person that can focus on the chat.
Yeah,
and that's usually the admin, because when you have shit nuggets like this pop into your stream, you can get rid of them real fast. And for some reason, they thought they were going to be around for a while.
Well, after all, they're wee little men.
Okay. I just want to say, Worldwide Goji Kai is killing it tonight in the comments. I loved his previous one where he said, "Come with me if you want to live."
But the scary part is, though, in all seriousness, I mean, this is something that I think is going to become problematic at best, and that is, as much as people are embracing AI, and you mentioned Tesla, Tom.
Yeah.
Just a few years ago, in fact, about a year or 18 months ago, Elon Musk, in an interview with 60 Minutes, was saying that AI was dangerous and that people don't realize how dangerous it is. And now he is embracing it. And I read, I believe yesterday, that he is investing in a special server center. He posted it on Twitter, pictures of it, that they're dedicating in AI.
But there's a little twist to that too, because although he moved his headquarters from California to Texas because of basically of the politics, California is pushing a law to govern AI, and he actually said, I'm going to surprise a lot of people by saying I hope they pass this, because let's be honest, California emission standards are the default standards of the rest of the U.S. because if you're going to sell your car in California, every other car in the country is made the same. So if California passes standards for AI, guidelines, restrictions, it's going to apply. They are the big kid in the house.
But there's a cross thing here that he's pulling. I'm not trying to bring in politics and woke versus not woke, but this really applies, and that is what he's doing though is he's heavily embracing AI, which California has recently began to regulate. But he's using the pretext that he's moving from California to Texas because of California's woke attitudes on employment.
Oh,
I don't believe that bullshit one bit. I think it's AI he's avoiding, the AI regs.
Oh, but again, the way this country is, I got a feeling that California's regs are going to be carried over. I personally think he went because of tax reasons.
Absolutely. You guarantee he was offered huge tax incentives, like he already has because of where's Tesla's factories at, guys? I know SpaceX is in California and Florida.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I think Tesla is in in Texas.
Is it? I thought Tesla was in California originally.
You guys talk. I'll look real quick.
So,
watch out. Don's breaking out the Google.
Clearly, the two of you have not watched the TV series A Person of Interest. And in that, you had AI. The one guy developed an AI, and he was using it to like help people out and save people. And then they made it even bigger. So there was this Samaritan AI, which was like bad news. And so you had like this crazy chick in there. She was referring to the AI as God. And
Tesla's in Texas.
Yeah. So, the whole, I think I kind of stopped watching it when they were like going to have the two AIs going to war. And I just lost interest at that point. But yeah, Person of Interest was an absolutely fun program at first, but then it got crazy towards the end.
But the thing is, AI, I mean, think about fundamentally what AI is. What you're doing is you're giving a machine autonomy.
Yeah.
And you got companies like Musk, who I don't care if you like him, hate him, love his politics, hate his politics. The guy has more money, okay, than most countries do. All right. And he has the resources, and he's very good at surrounding himself with very smart and qualified people. He has that gift.
Yes.
Like him or hate him. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. He's very smart to do that. Know where your limitations are at. But I believe that we're just embracing this AI thing way too much, and it's going to get out of hand. I mean, people joke, T8000 and, come with me if you want to live. And it's all funny, but it's always funny until it's not funny.
Right.
Well, yeah. And that not funny is probably coming sooner than we think.
I think you're right, Tom, and I'm not. You know me. You know me, guys. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but when it comes to AI, I really think that it's bad shit to be pushing.
To be honest, Don, I mailed you my spare tinfoil hat, so it should.
Thank God, it goes with my flat Earth manual back here.
Mine got crushed. I'm sorry, I don't have anyone to bring out. But listen, when it comes to AI. We know the direction that WotC is going to take. And how do we know WotC is going to embrace this? Because Chris Cox, who claims that he games with his...
a proper last name.
I know.
Sorry.
So CC, who claims that he uses AI for game prep, which I am sure he does. But that's only part of the conversation because he wants to... I would, hey, I just found out that I'm getting a pension from Macy's from when I used to work at a department store they bought out.
Nice.
I would bet my Macy's pension that they are going to want to integrate AI into designing adventures for the new VTT. Oh, wait, we pretty much know they plan to because Cox bragged about we have access to thousands of adventures. Well, that's right. Dungeon, Dragon, everything that's been published, probably everything that's on the DM's Guild, they have access to strip that down, feed their AI, and have some amazing adventures that you'll pay 99 cents for somebody to go pink And
Why hire a designer when you can go have a computer do it for free?
They're not going to stop there because you use an AI to scrape the internet to get more information than you're legally entitled to, and so that you can use it. So they're going to scrape the internet for anything Paizo.
Oh no! Listen, my gut feeling is they brought this up. They brought this up.
They've already done it.
No, they're not. They by bringing it up, they've thrown down the gauntlet of we are going to do this legitimately. So, and we're going to hit anybody who tries to mine our shit because we have the biggest collection. We have stuff going back to 1974. Heck, they might even have rights to use things that were under license from Judges Guild.
You can hit anybody who has mined your crap, but once it's in the AI training data, it's there. The AI can't forget it.
No, I don't, and I understand that, but my feeling is Cox brought that out because that's going to be their argument. Oh, our AI, it's moral because we're using our IP.
That's the bullshit. That's the bullshit game they're gonna play.
We have a moral AI because we only fed it our shit over the last 50 years.
I'll believe a big corporation is moral. Okay. I'll believe a big corporation is moral when the Pope converts to being a Baptist.
Well,
I'm sorry.
I'm not
corporations are not moral.
Amen.
They're not moral.
Here's the thing, though. They're not being moral because it's the right thing to do. They're being moral because this is how they have to sell it. They already know there's a pushback.
Well, it looks good too.
Well,
guys,
I have to ask.
It has nothing to do
I
with
want to ask
morality.
you this, Eric. Then, if we're going to go on this morality kick, were they moral when they tried to scrap the OGL?
No, but if I may say something real quick,
repeatedly.
I think the point that Eric's trying to get to, though, is it's not the fact that they're being moral. I think what they're doing is they're playing the moral card.
Right.
That way they can go, well, we're only using our own data to train our AI.
Doing that, but I'm calling bullshit on it.
I agree, 100%.
Here's the other thing. All right, we'll take this a step further. They've already said we're not allowing our artists to use AI art, right?
Bullshit. Sorry.
Well, here's the thing. They didn't say that we won't generate our own AI and feed it our own IP-owned art. So we could generate art that's Larry Elmore art and Clyde Caldwell art and all this other stuff.
Darling artists.
Tom Wham, whoever, because they own it. So they can take the moral high ground, okay? Because they don't have to go out and scrape other sources when they have it. And they can say, well, yeah, it's AI, but we're not stealing from anybody.
But you know,
from ourselves.
But could you imagine instead if they did one other thing instead? And I'm going to talk. I'm going to put my little winky dink podunk Michigan publisher hat on here for a minute. Can you imagine if WotC instead did a call out and said, listen, we're looking for small publishers who are willing to give us 40% of all gross sales or net sales. And in return, we'll give you licenses to do the Descent into the Depths of the Earth module or Keep on the Borderlands. You know what they would do? They would have people like me lined up willing to sign agreements for 40%. But they don't. They're instead going to, and I agree with Eric, I think they're going to train their own AI models. It's going to show, because we've all seen what AI does in it. I have at least 1 to 2 modules or stories presented to me every month that is so obviously AI, I'm chuckling while I'm reading it. And they claim it's not.
And here's the thing. What's so sad is they don't even bother to rewrite it.
No, they don't.
I mean, listen. We were all high school and college students, all right? We've all had that time where it's like, oh, wow, I really let that term paper is really long in the tooth. I got to get it done. I got to get it done fast. And maybe you crib from Monarch or Cliff Notes. And
Well,
ones that got caught are the ones that didn't put it into their own words because, I'm just going to, that sounded really good. I'm going to quote that. And you know it.
Well, I got lucky because as a freshman, I did a few all-nighters where I was like, by the end of the morning, I was like, and this is before you could really do a lot with computers. This was, 1990. Yeah.
Word processor.
And I'm like this. Oh yeah, I was using a typewriter. It was a word processor, and you had a little window, and it had enough memory for a page and a quarter. So you had to type in the page, edit it in the word processor, and then hit print and print out that page. And then that page was locked in. And if you wanted to change anything on there, you had to retype the whole damn page. It was brutal doing term papers as a freshman in 1990. It was absolutely brutal. And so I learned from that. I said, you know what? I'm done with that. I'm done with doing all-nighters. I will start my term paper day one. I will hit the library in the college and I will start my research. And so long before the term paper was due, I'd already written it, I'd already printed it, and I brought it to the professor. I said, hey, would you just go make sure I'm not off base? And he would correct all of the misspellings and punctuation, and I'd end up with an A because I'd retype that and get it, and it'd be a paper. And so I just learned to do things early. But these people, it's like when you operate in a forum for a long time, you get to know somebody's style of writing. And I was on starfrontiers.us for a long time, more than a decade, interacting with people. And I could tell if I was reading something, I'd be like, Larry Moore, Woot wrote that, or Eric Windsor wrote that, or Tom Stevens wrote that. I could tell because I knew them, basically how you would know a pen pal. I could recognize their writing. And so when you tell me you recognize AI when somebody sends it to you and they don't even bother to rewrite it, I'm like, hell yeah, that is the way it is. Absolutely.
but the thing is, the problem is that there's the essence of it right there, is that so many people now are utilizing it. They're defending the use of it. And I really chuckle when I see somebody say, well, I'm an artist and look what I created in AI. No, you're not an artist. No, you are not. Sorry, you are not. What you are is you are a data entry. You're skilled at data entry. You can manipulate the verbiage of statements and sentences and descriptions to get what you want. You're not creating jack shit. What you're doing is, as a matter of fact, you're kind of insulting people who are artists in fact, you are insulting people who are artists by saying you're an artist.
Amen. I know artists who were insulted by.
And I'm going to say, I'm going to mention a name because I have no problem mentioning his name here on live. And that is that moron, Dave Johnson. This is an idiot who sits there, thinks that he can go ahead and he can use AI to create his custom book covers and album covers.
And his novels.
And his novels and his audio stories and all this weird stuff. And I know exactly what he's doing. Like his last little fiasco that he just got done canceling is, write me a story that's similar to Space 1999. Guaranteed that's what he said.
Well, yeah, now he's doing a RPG, but whatever.
Oh, God, he's back doing that now.
Yeah, and he's using the name Alex Stone. But
Wow.
Alex Stone is a name we've linked to Dave Johnson because Alex Stone was a character in some of his weird fetish writing, spy fetish writing.
You do realize he'd have no audience if it wasn't for people who read his shit just to see the train wreck that's going to happen.
Yep.
If it wasn't for us, nobody would read. Rate still wants to do dramatic reading.
Oh, God, we got to do that one on one of our shows. We got to grab one of his chapters. Each of us pick a character, and we've got to do a dramatic reading of it.
Wait a minute. I want to be able to read that one line from one of his books where he went, "This girl, she hot." I mean, that is my favorite line of all time. This girl, she hot.
It's almost like a bad early 90s rap. That girl, she hot.
We should make a rap song. We should make a rap song.
And you know what the funny thing about him, Dave, is, like us, if we see a spike in views, we're like, hell yeah. When Dave sees a spike in views, he's like, oh shit.
Shit, I gotta run. By the way, just want to mention, I think, what's the magic number? Right now it's 23 views on X.
We have currently almost 50 people in live view right now.
So
Nice.
folks, last night we surpassed over 80 in our live view, of which like 60 were from X. So if you're watching on X, that is awesome. I don't think you all though can chat at us on X. So I mean,
No,
so
you can't. I tried to hook up X on my live the other night, and it flagged me a warning and said that something. I didn't have time to look at it because I was running behind, but I guess you can't comment from X.
With X to do a live on X, you have to be a paid subscriber.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's what it was.
That they changed that recently.
So,
but I gotta say, X has been driving a lot of traffic on the live streams. I do appreciate it. We all appreciate it.
Yes, we do. Thank you.
If you're watching the YouTube channels, you can actually like yell at us or whatever.
You can insult us. You can do anything you want. Just don't say DDoS.
DDoS.
All of a sudden, everyone's going to start saying DDoS in the comments just to be smart ass as you watch them. If Cal Vanoni was here, you know what he'd be saying right now.
Oh,
sorry, Cal, I'm picking on you.
I just want to speak to this comment right here from Science Mile. The prayer is, AI, make me an instrument of your trolling. The St. Francis prayer.
I'm actually kind of let down tonight, guys. I got to admit something, okay? I have a confession to make. VGA PMI 1895 is not in here insulting us.
Well, we didn't really cover him, and I did advocate that we cover him, but you guys seem to be a little bit.
No, I'm fine with that.
Oh, the RPG Anonymous posted?
Yeah, yes.
Wait. Allegedly.
Tom, you got a screenshot of it? You know what? We can talk about anyone we damn well please, because the purpose of this vlog is for critical review, critical discussion, and we are protected under those laws to do that.
All right, I'll find
Scott, how you doing, buddy? Scott, just real quick, a little bit of housekeeping here. I got your message earlier. Thank you for the video. And I think I messaged you back. There.
Okay, I will do a share screen.
Okay.
We found it before I did. God bless you.
Well, Eric, let's face it, we're banned from all their pages, so it's hard to see.
That's it. Oh my God.
There you go.
Zip.
So, this is from Dungeon Hobby Shop Museum. So we know who that's from. Allegedly, the same person that we suspect to maybe be. I don't know if you want me to say it.
Oh, go ahead. I mean, we're allowed to discuss here. We're not slandering or disparaging anybody.
Is that since the court case in Washington makes it clear that anybody posting on Dungeon Hobby Shop has to be Justin Lanassa, this is obviously Justin Lanassa posting this. VGA PMI, I suspect, my opinion, purely my opinion, is Justin Lanassa. I could be wrong, but you know.
And real quick, I want to make a statement, just to be clear. We are not accusing anybody of specifically being anything. We're not accusing anybody of any inappropriate behavior. We are merely offering commentary and our own opinions, and it does not reflect any type of thing upon the vlog of many things or anything else. We're just offering our opinion there.
And let me make another thing, because this invokes anonymous, you know, the whole like Alcoholics Anonymous, you know, the narc Anonymous, and, you know, any of those groups that are trying to help people. Those are really good groups. You know,
they are damn fine noble groups is what they are.
And the 12-step program, you know, has a wonderful track record. So in no way do I want to make it seem like I'm taking a dump.
Yeah, we're not comparing any of those programs with this post.
So this post, here's what I raised with this post is if he is role-playing games anonymous, you know, Alcoholics Anonymous is that you're trying to get, deliverance from alcohol. Yes. So this would make it seem like he's trying to get deliverance, you know, or you know,
But my question is this. He does this all the time on his social media. First of all, what does this have to do with the museum? What does this have to do with the history of tactical study rules? And not only that, but okay, Role Playing Games Anonymous. It doesn't link to anything, and there's no description about it.
well, maybe he has seen the light and he's had a coming to Jesus moment, and he is trying to make amends for all his many sins these past couple of years. I you can laugh. You can laugh.
Let me put my nuts in the door and slam it a few times.
All right. Now, just because I literally just went on Amazon and ordered a Magic 8 Ball because it's the only way I could get answers to any of this shit. It will probably say, future, future is hazy. Try again later, or some crap like that.
but the thing is, what is this? That's my whole point. What is this?
Well, here's the thing.
Well, this could be him.
Alcoholics Anonymous is the alcoholic. But Role Playing Games Anonymous, it should be Role Playing Gamers Anonymous.
If this is serious, I'll tell you what this is.
Or is this a Freudian slip because anonymous male?
Well, it could be that.
Oh.
But if it's at all serious, I would say that this is his admission that he is powerless, and he acknowledges that he has a disorder and he has no control over himself. Would you not agree that those statements are true, Don, Eric?
Hold on real quick. Gentlemen, we owe this man a round of applause for this comment. I'm sorry, this was classic, but you asked me would I agree to that? Yeah.
That he's powerless and
Yeah.
that he's got a disorder. I would say yes. I would agree with him. So if this is his honest admission that he, following a 12-step program, I wrote notes on the 12-step program today. So 2 to 3 steps, 2 to 3 is belief in a higher power, and make the decision to turn his life over to the higher power, and put it into the care. So I would, if he's serious and this is what he means by this, is that he's going to be doing steps 2 and 3. Fantastic. And, fantastic for that. Number 4 is a searching and fearless moral inventory. That's not going to be pleasant for the guy, I don't think.
I'm actually going to go to the URL to see if it's a live URL.
Yeah. Number 5.
It is not.
Step 5 is admit to ourselves and to God and another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. So, confession's good for the soul. So I certainly encourage that in VGA PMI or Justin Lanassa or whoever it is that's behind this. 6 and 7 is be entirely ready and ask God to remove your defects of character. That would be a good thing for him. If God removed defects of character for him, I would certainly, and just because honestly, Don, like you're involved in a lawsuit, you've been subpoenaed in a lawsuit that he's involved in, and Eric, he has a lawsuit with you. So it wouldn't be appropriate for either of you. But if he wanted to come on my show and do some of these 12 steps, make amends, all that, I would completely completely support him in that.
Well,
it's an open invitation.
Yeah, I'm not going to hold my breath to it at all.
But
I go
out there.
But I go back.
Serious. If he's serious.
But I go back to my original question about this. Is when you look at the Dungeon Hobby Shop Museum's social media historically, and you look back on it, okay?
Yeah. And we have.
It is a museum. Let's just face it. It has been touted as a museum that is supposed to celebrate and showcase the history of tactical study rules, role-playing games centered around TSR hobbies of the 70s and 80s. However, it has all the time things like this are posted. There's these really weird things like Role-Playing Games Anonymous. Okay. All right. He's making a point. What is the point? What is it linked to? What's it for? Nothing. And, it's just like, it would be like me having Wizard Tower games and posting, just a comment that says dice
Or
game.
or
People would be like,
Bernie Sanders 2024.
yeah,
He's
exactly.
not even running.
Yeah.
It'd be weird like that. It'd be like, what?
Yeah. So I guess I don't understand the whole point of role playing, because I just got done looking into it online for a moment. There is a RPGanonymous.com, and it is a podcast devoted to gaming, but it is an older podcast. The last post 2022. So it's probably not linked, but again, RPG or role playing games anonymous.
Well,
Wait a minute, I just noticed something.
What's that?
Oh my god, are you guys looking at this right? He spelled anonymous right.
Did he really? Well, you know what?
I'm sorry, guys.
A broken clock is right twice a day.
This just brings a tear to my eye. This is momentous. Bear with
He's
me.
grown up. Our little boy has grown up.
So I want to make a point here, and so let me get through the last four steps. 8 was make a list of all the persons we have harmed, and be willing to make amends. You know what? He's got a great start because he's got a 20-point hate list of people he hates that we discovered online, and
I'm on it. I'm on it.
I'm number 3. Eric beats me out, but I'm always behind
What
Eric.
number was I? What number was I?
I think you were. No, I think you got added to it later because you're the one who linked it.
Luke was
Oh, that's right. I began getting hated after I sat
one.
there and said
Luke was
enough.
number 1. I was number 2.
I was number 3. Yeah.
And
So
Eric,
number-
I'm sorry, but I find you being number 2 is a little bit of poetically weird because you got sent number 2.
Well,
Yeah, that's right. You did get sent elephant poop.
I did.
Eric, it's gonna be a shitty joke. We're gonna throw at you. It's gonna be that elephant in the room always.
The elephant shit in the room.
And 5 pounds of it.
Not
Wait a
even
minute, hold on.
Elephant shit.
Hughley just made a point here. RPGA.
What is that?
Is he firing up the RPGA again?
Role Playing Games Association, but as Role Playing Games Anonymous.
But he's going to use RPGA, the initials?
Maybe.
God, why can't people be freaking original? What is about this?
Well, let me just say that if he is at all seriousness, step 9 is where we're going to know that he's serious. And step 9 is make direct amends to such people that you have harmed.
Yeah, my ass.
Well, you would be one, and so if you ever get a cashier's check for the $7,000 he owes you,
72.
72, seven
70.
grand
No, stop. 72 that I allege he owes me.
that you allege he owes you. An apology to me for calling my daughter kind of disgusting names. Apology to you for attacking you and your daughter. Eric, certainly an apology to you and to your wife for things he did back in 21, 22.
Or suing my mother. How about that one?
Yeah.
Your mother should get an apology. So we look forward to that, and we certainly encourage that. Step 9 is continued personal inventory and confessing when you are wrong, saying, hey, I was wrong to do this thing. Step 11 is seek through prayer and meditation to improve your consciousness and contact with God. I certainly encourage that if he's serious. But here's where I get a little bit concerned that he posted this, because step 12 is having had this spiritual awakening, try to carry this message to others. When you've had the spiritual awakening, that like alcohol is bad, and you try to, so he's not done any of these steps. I mean, Dawn, have you received an apology?
Remember I mentioned the 2 D20s earlier?
Yeah, I know. So I was being rhetorical. Eric, have you received an apology? Probably not. Have you received money to reimburse you for all your expenses in the lawsuit, Eric? Maybe, probably not.
Are we living in fantasy world here?
You know what? I'll say this in front of everybody right now.
So the fact that he's doing step 12 of, hey, I'm presenting the message, but he hasn't done any of the other steps, is kind of violation of the whole 12-step program.
It's par for the course. Par for the course.
Yep. Fugly says, actually, the RPGA may be coming back. I believe Eric is a member of that Facebook group that's got things in the works.
I have no clue.
How does that sing? The snowball chance. You know, Holly, amen. Amen. You know, the thing about all this is the shame of it is this.
Sure.
Okay? The man has no idea how blessed he really is. He has, and I don't know what the status of this is right now due to litigation in his own family, but he's married. He has an adorable little girl. Yep. He has had success in the real estate market that, let's face it, if you can blow $250,000 on a lawsuit against one person, you have money. He has property. He has nice things. Okay.
Business in the form of Hardwire Tattoo.
Yeah, he has successful businesses. Okay, I'm not going to take it away from him. And he could have entered this and done this so differently, where as of today, if it would have been done differently, I believe WotC would have tolerated TSR Hobbies. Yep, I think that he would be well liked and respected in the gaming sphere if he would have surrounded himself with qualified people and was willing to listen to them. But it is just this typical, and I'm not saying him, but sometimes people become very narcissistic, self-centered, undeserving because of their own ego and their own self-animus and hatred, and they just spoil it for themselves and it backfires. Not saying him again. I'm just saying in general terms. So, you know what? RPGA. Interesting stuff. I'm just going to say it like this because, yeah, I don't know what this is.
I think we know what this is, and it's the name that we were going to give to Blades and Sorcery.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
No, I agree with you fully.
Yes.
I just don't understand this. I don't understand is he gonna start?
Well, I mean, normally when you enter like an Alcoholics Anonymous, it's to go into recovery from alcohol. So you would think that if he's doing this role-playing games Anonymous, he's going into recovery from role-playing games and all of the evil shit that he's done over the past, 3-4 years. I would think.
I am man enough. If an individual has wronged me, if they honestly came to me, and I'm not saying him, just anybody, I'll look like that, and said, listen, Don, I have wronged you. I have said bad things about you and your family. I owe you money. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to apologize to you publicly, and I'm going to work on getting you paid back, and I want to heal the damage that I've caused. I am sincerely sorry. I am always willing to say, maybe I should err on the side of being a good person, but not in this case, suckers. Ain't no way in hell.
Well, look. I love the prodigal son story. David Copperfield said that it was the most sublime story in the English language, the prodigal son.
Amen, so, Worldwide Goji-Con.
I love second chances, and I've had second chances in my life. I believe in them. So, I mean, if he really has turned the corner and has really repented of his sins, then I'm willing to
okay
and embrace him in that.
No.
But repentance has evidence.
But that's my whole point. What would he have to do to make you, Tom? Okay, Tom, I'm a selfish bastard when it comes to this. I'll admit it. I ain't forgiven jack shit after what my wife and my dead daughter was put through. But no, every man is his own man. I respect that out of you because That's part of the reason why I like you. You know what I mean? You've
Well,
got the
it's part of my
character enough
story.
to say that.
It's
But
part of
my
my
question
story.
is
I was
this.
an evil bastard, and I got a second chance.
But what would have to happen in order for you to do that with him? What would have to be done?
I think a public confession, and I think if he sent you a cashier's check for $7,000, 7,200, you allege 7,200. If he sent it for seven grand, I'd be like, Don, forgive him the 200, let it go. Because honestly, you're not going to see that money.
I don't care about the money. That's my whole point. To
No,
me,
I
the
get
money
you.
is absolutely
It's the
moot.
abuse.
But making amends is about righting the wrongs you've done for the evil you've done. And if he's actively trying to do that, and he's actually putting his money where his mouth is, and it's not just bullshit lip service, then I'm gonna have to.
But see, to me personally, this is the way I look at this. You know what? I'm a grown ass man. Call me bad names, make fun of me, smash me, tear me down. You know what? I'm man enough to shake your hand if you're man enough to say you're sorry. But I'm going to tell you where I draw the line. You go after my wife, you go after my dead daughter, okay? Then guess what? There is no forgiveness. There's no nothing. I can forgive on me.
Well, Don, I get that, and I would not push you on that point. But if he was making some sort of effort to make things right, and he made amends to you, then I would be like, all right, look, the guy's making amends, because you know what? I mugged a guy before I became a Christian, and I forgot about that. And then God brought it back to my mind, because you know what happened? I had a car accident with the very SOB that I had mugged. And so I happened to know where the guy lived, so just through the documents. And so I went to his house. I knocked on his door. I says, look, 3 years ago, I mugged you. I hit you in the face. I took your money, and but I've had a coming to Jesus moment, and I want to make it right. And so here's 4 times the amount of money I took from you, and I want to apologize. And I handed it to him, and he took it, and he clearly looked like, what the fuck is happening? And so I just turned and walked away, and then went down the stairs and walked away from his apartment.
That shows your character, not in the fact that you did that. It shows your character that publicly
Because
you're
I wanted to
talking
make
about
amends. And, so if somebody else is trying to make amends, and maybe they're not making it perfectly, I beat this guy in the face.
Right, but
Okay.
here's the thing: you're talking about wanting to make amends. There's
Yes.
desire that has to be part of that.
Well,
I don't listen. We're talking what if, like the classic Marvel comic book. All right, what if somebody was born with a soul? Well, then the world would be different. What if they weren't? Well, then that's probably what we got. It's a nice mental, spiritual exercise to go through, but it is, in my opinion, pointless and without merit, because this shit's still going on. It's like the ever what
I
was
don't
it
disagree with you.
ever ready batteries with the rabbit going.
I don't disagree with you, Eric. Don's question was, what would? And I said, look, if he was trying.
Yeah, and Tom, don't get me wrong here.
If he was trying, then I would be like, all right, let me give him a little bit of slack.
But that's my whole point. I'll say this right here in front of everybody when it comes to you too, is I respect the fact that you would forgive him if he did these things. You know what? I'm not knocking you for that. I am just saying that when it comes to me personally, okay, I can forgive a lot of things pointed at Don. Okay,
Yeah.
I have many times in the past. I'm no saint here. As my dad used to say, there's no virgin right now on this video stream. You know what I mean? By far, I have committed my sins. I have done my wrongs. But you know what the difference is?
Agreed.
I legitimately regret the wrongs I've done. I've atoned for the wrongs I've done. And I take actions to make up for the wrongs I've done. But this is the thing. I have never, ever attacked a dead child. I have never attacked a child with disabilities, and I've never went after another man's wife. To
And
me,
I'm not
over the
speaking
limit.
to you.
Yeah.
In that, and it might be different for me if I was in your position. I might be like, honestly, I don't know what it's like to be in your position because you're in a unique position. So I don't know what that's like, but I just know what my story is, and my story is about second chances and
Yeah.
getting those second chances.
Sure.
And if if he had a true coming to Jesus moment and he repented, and repentance has fruit.
But kind of like back to the subject, though. I mean, in Rick thing, what could this RPGA thing mean? Role playing games anonymous. I mean, is he going to start a club? Is it a?
Well, I think it's personally, I think it's bullshit. But I advocated that we treat it as
How you doing, Ryan?
serious, because when you treat it as if it is serious, it's kind of funny when you get to the end of it.
Well, that's a listen, Ryan. We apologize to you. If you start watching the video from the beginning, you'll kind of get where we got here. We're all kind of laughing, joking. Nobody's mad at anybody here.
We're kind of in the religious part of this video, and the beginning part of this video is a little bit more political. So you might want to go there.
But in all seriousness, what could
politics and religion are the big FUs?
Okay, kind of like segue into something different here. Speaking of RPGA, for the people watching this video, and Eric and Tom, especially you two are really, really plugged into the ethera of gaming more than even I am. Do you guys think that something like the RPGA, there's room for an RPGA type society out there? Do you think people would want to be a member of it and partake in it and contribute to it?
You mean anonymous, not association?
Yes, the RPG. I'm talking about like the old.
How it used to be?
Well,
yeah, like a not so much like it used to be, but a club-like, society-like, where people could join. And I'm not advocating doing it. I'm just saying, what do you guys think of it? Do you think there's room in our hobby for something like that? People would be interested?
Eric, I've talked a lot. You take this one for a minute, and then I'll
I'm gonna take it for. I'll take it for a minute, and then I'm gonna have to.
Yeah, you got a book because someone among us three actually does gaming every week. God, I'm jealous.
You got 3 minutes to get in there.
I game every other week. By the way, I'm gonna throw this out to the two of you and include your wives. I'd like to do a session with us. We don't have to broadcast.
Yeah. Live stream.
I want to do Call of Cthulhu using a starter set.
Ooh.
I think that's something that our
different.
wives will enjoy.
Real quick, I'm going to admit I'm a virgin here. I've never played Call of Cthulhu.
I haven't run anything in Call of Cthulhu since the early 90s. So
I had Oscar Rios run me through a Call of Cthulhu Invictus, which is like ancient Rome. And I was like, how do you beat Cthulhu with Roman weapons?
Amen, Scott Mulder. Amen. I got you.
There you go. Yeah. Well,
but Eric, what do you think about this?
I think that under the correct stewardship, I think it would have to have the backing of a number of companies across the spectrum, and it would have to be politics free. And one of the issues with gaming right now is that there are companies, publishers on the left, on the right, that believe politics is more important than community.
Yes,
right?
Sadly.
You're correct. Amen.
So I don't
preach it, Eric.
So that's why the tavern has a no politics and no real life social issues. Does it sometimes travel out of that? Yes, but we try to keep it that way. And that was Frank Metzner, I give him credit, who said, this is what you got to do. And he was so right. Because when you keep the talking about gaming, then it puts us together. When you make the talking about politics, all it does is divide.
I have a strong suspicion you have an opinion about politics. And I find it funny when people say that you are like betraying the cause because you refuse to have an opinion about politics.
And you know what? I've known this man down below me now for what, Eric, 2.5 years?
Yep.
And you know what? We talk just about every day via PM and at least a few times per month on the phone. and we have never talked politics, except maybe Eric might once in a while mention, I'm neutral, I don't get into it. That's the extent of my discussions with politics with Eric Tenkar and Tom Verrill.
We've come peripheral on politics, you and I.
Yes.
But we've never gotten into it.
Yeah.
And I have strong suspicions where both of you lie. I don't care because I like you guys.
That's part of life. Listen, my favorite quote from Inappropriate Characters, the live stream that ended, but hopefully there's more to that, was Grim Jim a couple of years back when they were talking about me, and Grim in his wonderful British accent, which I cannot imitate, was like, Tenkar is so neutral, it's pathological.
That is a fucking compliment.
I was like, that is what you want to hear when it comes to gaming. On that note, holy crap, I got 6 people already waiting in the Discord side. So I'm going to drop out into the Discord.
See you, Eric. It was a pleasure.
Eric, thanks.
Keep watching on Twitter. We'll give the updated numbers. There are 26 viewers on Twitter right now. You all are awesome. Thank you. It made X viable for me. So thank you.
Eric, have a good game.
Eric,
it's not a game. It's just a chat. It's just
it's still like this, man.
But with the community. So we just
see that's cool in itself.
Yeah. I've been doing that for about 10 years.
We endorse community.
Absolutely.
All right, folks.
We also endorse miniatures.
Talk to Eric. The thing is, though, is this the sad part about it is, and I'll use Venger Satanis as a good example. People were talking about Venger the other day on Facebook, and about his, declaring that he was no longer publishing and everything, and it kind of devolved into this. See ya. Don't let the door hit you in the ass and all this. And all I made was, and you might have seen the post I made where I said, basically, love the guy or hate the guy. He's a very talented game designer. And I think part of his problem was his politics. I had one person on Facebook unfriend me over it. I mean, come on, man. I mean, too much political divisiveness that's in our community. And maybe we need an RPGA-like society. Tom, you remember this? Remember when me, you, and Eric were talking about firing up this? You remember that? But that was my point. That was about 6 months ago, where we were talking about maybe starting a gaming club for free where people could meet, have a Discord, and where people could congregate and really have, be able to talk gaming.
You were proposing more communication, and people were like, ah!
Yeah.
I'm like, honestly, more communication is better than less.
Yep.
And I'm sorry, crucify me, hate me, whatever. I don't care. I have family members who are on the right who are voting for Donald Trump. I have family members on the left voting for the other guy, for Joe Biden. Excuse me.
Kamala Harris.
Yeah, brain fart. A little too much coffee laced with some bourbon.
Nothing wrong with that.
Well, hey, bourbon's it's a real American drink. You can only make bourbon in America. Check that out. It's a fact. Congress passed a law. You can
you have to call it bourbon. It
has to be made in the continental United States.
Yeah.
Including Hawaii, which I kind of find funny. So somebody should make bourbon Hawaii. I would friggin' buy at least one boutle. Because
you can buy pineapple rum.
But
rum's my drink. Bourbon's is Tom's.
Bourbon's my drink. Don's is rum. When we get together, we're going to have to compromise a little bit. We'll drink Guinness.
I'll bring a bottle. How's that? Oh, Guinness? Amen.
What was that other drink you were promoting to me? That Diplomatico.
Diplomatico rum.
I have not tried that yet, but I've looked into it, and I'm like, ooh, that's...
If I get up in your area, I'll bring you a bottle. I'm being dead serious.
Well, no, I actually checked out my area to buy a bottle and send it to you as a gift. So one of those. It was one of those things like, oh, I really gotta check this out. I feel like I really have to try drinking. I don't like rum. It's not my drink.
It's the only kind of rum I can drink straight.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See,
it's that good.
I like that because, like, my favorite vodka is UFO vodka. You can drink it straight with an ice cube. It's perfect.
Yep.
Most bourbons I drink with an ice cube, one ice cube in the glass, and it's perfect. And I have a nice time, and I have one drink before bed. And I go to bed, and I bother the wife a little bit.
Worldwide Gojikai, he makes a good point here. He says, you say the wrong thing online anymore, and suddenly your channel starts hemorrhaging subscribers. I agree. He says, seen it happen too many times. Don't know why people just can't keep their mouths shut. You know what I think, though, the point is more important here is instead of somebody keeping their mouth shut on a channel, why can't viewers just simply say, you know what? I don't like what Don, Tom, and Eric are saying right now. I have a choice. I can disagree with them, which people have before in this chat, or if I really am offended, I can just simply log off and I won't give them my eyeball business. Why do I have to destroy you because I don't like what you said?
Well, you know what? Let's take the RPG Pundit.
Yes. Good example.
I subscribe to his YouTube channel. I want to know what he's talking about. He's a far bigger channel than me, so clearly I have something to learn from him, obviously. And so I subscribe to his channel. I listen to what he has to say. I don't always agree with it, but sometimes he's got some good points. And if the man's got a good point, then I should have an answer for it. My name is Thomas. I'm named after Doubting Thomas. And that means I've got to listen to something and I got to say, all right, I don't agree with it. And here's why I don't agree with it. And that has been my character for decades. Yeah. I got in trouble at seminary because I had that character, because I would ask people questions and they'd be like, what are you, what, Pentecostal? It was a Baptist school. And I'd be like, no, but you're proposing this and I'm asking you an honest question and you can't answer it.
Yeah.
And so they would blow up in my face and be like, you're just a Pentecostal. And I'm like, no, I am a Baptist, but I'm asking you an honest question and you can't effing answer it. And so for me, if you can't answer an honest question, then, screw you. I don't have to pay any attention to your opinion because you're afraid of answering an honest question. And I'm simply asking honest questions that are logical based off of what you've proposed. And if you can't do that, and I find Venger, who, he's a bit extreme. He's a bit far to the right, but he does have a logic to his thinking. And if I cannot answer his logic, then my answer should not be, well, F you, Venger, not Venger,
Pundit.
RPG Pundit. F you, RPG Pundit, I got to ban you. No. I need to do a little bit more research and thinking and have a better answer.
And or you have the option that if you are really in disagreement with him, all you have to do is hit unsubscribe and you don't got to go to his channel.
Or you could freaking just mute him for 30 days.
Yeah, that's the whole point. You have a myriad of options, but instead what people do is people say, I do not like Don's comment. I do not like Don's content. So instead,
blocked on.
Or I want to see his channel taken off YouTube. And see, that's the thing with me. That's why, and you're on my friends list. We've been friends now for quite a while. You can look at my friends list. Look at who I have on my channel. I have a myriad of everything from people who don't believe transgenderism is real to people who are transgender. I have flaming liberals and I have staunch conservatives. I have people who are blatant, outspoken atheists, and I have people who are hardcore Christians or hardcore religious. Why? Because I like them as people, and I don't have to hate you because our religious religions don't line up, or you voted for somebody I don't like. I don't need to do that. Why? As long as you don't attack people on my page that are friends of mine, or as long as you don't disrespect me, because I'm not disrespecting you.
You know, if my mother and father were still alive, one of them would be voting for Biden and the other would be voting for Trump. What would you expect me to do? Should I disown my parents? F you. I'm not
true. I agree with you.
You know, look, I love both my parents. I know one was a dyed-in-the-wool Republican and one was a dyed-in-the-wool, Democrat. And I asked Dad after Mom passed away, I said, Dad, how did you make it work? He goes, well, your mother just knew enough to keep her mouth shut. And he was just saying something funny because it was funny, but it was not true. It was not that Mom knew enough to keep her mouth shut.
Yeah.
You know, he was just saying, he was taking liberties of the fact that she was dead.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just saying that. And I just kind of laughed when Dad said it because it was funny, and I knew he was taking advantage of the fact that Mom was dead when he said that. Great. Okay. I still took care of my father. I did not always agree with him. I still love my mother. I was there when she died. I held her hand. I love that woman. Okay. And I did not agree with her politically. And I held the hand of my father when he passed away. And I did not agree with him completely.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have more sympathy with, a former boss who's a bit libertarian. And, okay, fine. Look, I love my family. Politics does not trump family. And anybody out there who says, you know what, politics should trump family, screw you. You have a problem.
Well, I mean, that's the thing with me is that I think that, everybody has their own personal rules. You know what I mean? I have a friend on Facebook that literally has made several posts in the past, and I like her, as a person, but she makes posts things like saying that if you voted for or if you were going to vote for Donald Trump, get off my page, or that type of stuff. And my view on it is you know what? It's just like the same thing as a game. When you come to my home and we've got 6 people around my kitchen table, okay? And I got a pot of chili on the stove, we got game books out. The last thing on my mind is, who did you vote for in last election? I want to know about, this is the adventure. Tom, what character are you playing? Hey, Sue, what are you playing? What are you doing?
When I grew up, we always visited my mother's cousin. My mother's cousin, to me, in the 1970s, looking at her, she looked like a male truck driver. I later, as I, grew some maturity, figured out, oh, Mom's cousin was probably something, sensitive. And
what was she? I mean, if she was gay or whatnot.
That meant it was Mom's cousin. She was probably gay.
Okay, yeah, hey.
We went to visit her anytime we were in Maine. She was on the list of people we were going to visit. We went to her house. We visited her. Look, that's Mom's cousin. That's family. We love her and we care about her. And F you if you don't accept her. I don't care. That's my family. End of story. It's end of story. I just don't fucking care.
But it should also transcend over to, Tom, and I know this is with you. It should transcend over to your gaming table, because what is the one? And this is why I think D&D took off so quick and so fast, because D&D was one of those unique games where, like when I was younger and I was playing, we had a kid on the football team was in our group, and I'm not being like making something up to be cool.
I know this story. I love it.
Yeah. And the thing is, his only rule was, don't tell people in the school that I'm playing with you guys. And we didn't care. You know what I mean? Because why?
love to have a guy like that in my
Yeah.
RPG game. Like, all right, we keep it quiet.
Yeah.
So plays with
Yeah,
us.
he would come over my house, or we'd meet over my friend Lance's house, Lance McGraw. Isn't that weird? I can name the people I played D&D with when I was 13. Yeah,
Dad and Darren played D&D with me when I was 13.
exactly. But the cool thing is that's the unique thing about Dungeons and Dragons that made it so popular, was it transcended so many things. And sadly, the younger generation these days, some, not all, some have this really skewed idea that all we did is wear clan robes while playing D&D, and had cross burnings in the front yard and had rules that we couldn't have blacks and girls play. That is so false.
We spent the night at each other's house, and we played till 3 in the morning till we fell asleep. And if Thad fell asleep before us, we would put his hand in we tried out that whole put his hand in a pot of warm water. We tried that with him, and it didn't work.
I remember my mom had a rule. It was kind of funny. She would chew our butts. My friend Lance McGraw, Mark Bosquet, Carolyn Buggert, Charles Bostick. I'm naming the kids I played with, and I can't tell you what I had for lunch 2 days ago. But the thing is my mom, they'd come over and we'd have like a Saturday D&D game. They'd come over like at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. They would spend the night, not Carolyn, but they would spend the night. And technically Carolyn would too, because she'd be there all night gaming with us. And before my mom went to bed, because my mom would always go about 9:30 in her room, shut the door, and she'd go to bed and read in her bed.
Right.
She would go, "Now I'm going to tell you guys something. Don't be getting into my cigarettes and sneaking smoking." And my mom's other rule was, if you guys are going to make something and dirty the kitchen up, I better wake up and that kitchen better be clean when I wake up in the morning. And you know what? We would sit at my dining room table, and we would literally game from 3 o'clock in the afternoon until my mom would walk out and say, "You kids still in here gaming?" And we were quiet, and we all had a blast.
I officially like your mother.
Yeah.
Okay. We actually would get together and spend the night at somebody's house. And so we would play D&D in our sleeping bags.
Cool.
With a pillow propped under us. We'd be laying on the floor with a pillow propped under us. And I remember Castle Amber. Darren was DMing Castle Amber. And I remember us falling asleep. But I also remember that we thought, hey, let's get a pot of warm water and put Thad's hand.
Yeah.
He really fell asleep before us. So we're like, screw him. We're going to put his hand in warm water.
Yep.
I've reconnected with Thad, who is now a firefighter, and I really appreciate that. Go Thad. You're a good guy. But I have lost contact with Darren Krozig. I want to pronounce his name Krozig. He was at Plattsburgh, New York. So if you're out there, please contact me. I've lost touch with you. I would love to reconnect.
Got to ask a question real quick. Mulder, where in the hell in Michigan did you grow up at? Because when we lived overseas in the UK, then we came back in my late teens, we moved to Madison Heights, Michigan, and then to Homer, Michigan. Where'd you live at, my friend? I'd love to know.
While he's answering that, I just want to say snipe hunting was a thing in the Adirondacks and the Boy Scout troop I was a member of. Troop 88, Plattsburgh, New York, Plattsburgh Air Force Base, New York. Troop 8 doesn't exist anymore because the Air Force Base is gone, so the sponsor is gone. But snipe hunting was a thing, and they got us tenderfoots out there in the field, banging tent stakes together, and trying to get the snipe to come. And it was just the older scouts screwing with us, but it's good fun.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, but that's the whole point that I'm trying to make is, look at us, mid-50s old guys sitting here talking, and look how much joy we're getting talking about when we were 12, 13 years old playing a freaking game around the dining room table with our friends. D&D did that.
Don, I would say you and I are not in agreement religiously or politically, but we're in agreement game-wise. And yet we have fun and we enjoy each other. And it's like, anybody who wants to be like, you're not using your platform for good, which is, I know, a statement they make against Eric. I'm
Mhm.
like, F you. And, honestly, as a Christian and as somebody who went to seminary, I shouldn't be doing this. But honestly, it's really heartfelt. If you think that I'm wrong for doing that, go block me. Go do what you want.
But
I don't
see
care.
but that's just it, man. I mean, think about this. Is I just look at my from about 10 years old when I started gaming, D&D gaming, on. When I look back at my teen years before I went in the military, 95%, a good 90% of my fondest memories revolve around Dungeons and Dragons. And as an adult, I mean, if you would have told me at frickin' 12 years old, Don, you're going to one day be making games and selling them, and you're going to be doing this, I'd look at you and said, I wish. My wife's kids used to call me the toy maker in her kindergarten classroom. Yeah, they used to call me the toy maker or the toy man. And there was this young black boy named Darius who used to make fun of my bald head. Coolest little kid in the world, and he was so fascinated that I made games.
That's
just
really
cool stuff, man. D&D is just such a cool thing across the board.
Well, I just want to say that for me, it was D&D, Middle-earth role-playing, Car Wars, and Starfleet Battles. I loved them all. I played them all. I didn't care if you were willing to play with me. I was willing to play with you. Politics, sexual identity, none of that shit entered in. I don't care. I really don't care.
And Terry makes a good point. He says, Terry R says, I was late. I started in the military and I got started. Yeah, when I was in the military, our downtime, like if we went on, like if we did an FTX, field training exercise, or like in Germany, we would sit there and play D&D. And when I was a teen, my big ones, you mentioned yours, my big ones was Dungeons and Dragons was my 99% of the time game in RPGs. But also Gamma World was really, really heavy. We played Gamma World a lot. And we played a little bit of Dungeon, the board game. But 99% of it was D&D. Either we got into, usually it was the first two of Basic and Expert for BECME. That was our two big ones with BECME. But then AD&D, we really started getting into that. And it was just, I mean, I'm sitting here and I'm at, my mood has increased so drastically since talking about this aspect of it 15 minutes ago, Tom, because I remember the joy of, my brother-in-law, James, and me sitting down having one-on-ones, and James was the DM, and I had 3 PCs I played by myself with James. Some of the fondest memories as an individual of playing just Dungeons and Dragons with people. It's such a wonderful game.
Would it matter if James was today voting for the exact opposite guy that you
Not one damn bit. Just like anybody. We got invited. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, would you not invite him? Like say, hey, if we were doing if we were going to do a game like Eric suggested, would you not invite him to play in that? If we said, hey, do you know anybody?
Absolutely. I would love to invite him. Because like we just got invited. There's a local game shop in Grand Ledge that we're getting ready to. We're actually going to probably next week or the week after, we're going to be doing our Tuesday Night Live at the game shop. And you know what? I'm in
the chat for that.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. And you know what? It has never, ever entered one time talking to the owner of the game shop. Has it ever hit me going, I wonder who he voted for. I wonder what his political alignment is. I wonder if he's this. I don't care.
Does it matter?
No, that's the point.
It does not matter. It only matters to people who are assholes.
And that's just it. Too many people try to, and they don't realize something. And I really feel sorry for them. They don't understand the magic of one thing, and that is They don't think back of how come this crazy game with books, dice, pencil, and paper is so damn popular. It became that way because, again, it transcended politics, race, gender, all that nonsense.
If you were involved in stamp collecting, you would be excited to find another stamp collector. And the first question on your mind would not be, I wonder if he voted for Trump or Biden.
Amen.
Last election. No, you'd be excited that you found another effing stamp collector who was as crazy about stamp collecting as you. End of story. End of story. I'm sorry.
Yep. That's just, it's just a real shame that, but I think what I like seeing sometimes, I think it's like anything. You're going to have those loud people who are very vocal. They're going to want to bring politics into everything. They're going to want to bring religion to everything. But I believe for every one of them, I really firmly believe there's 20 people who are like, listen, dude, I don't give a shit. Dice. If not, I'll let you borrow mine. Oh, you got no books? Come on over, my friend. We'll make it work. You're welcome to the table.
Honestly, I like Scott said, Tom, Battletech and Starfleet Battles, the slide rules games,
Crunchy, yeah.
Well, honestly, I mean, Scott, I was a Star Trek fan. I came home from school. I did my homework so that I could watch Star Trek in reruns. 1967 Star Trek, then the 1960 Star Trek. William Shatner, Leonard Nimoy as Spock. That was my Star Trek. And it was on every friggin' night, Monday to Friday, and I could not stand to miss it, even if I had already seen it. So you know what I did? I came home, I did my homework, and I let my mother know I did my homework, and I did my chores, and then I was good to watch Star Trek that evening when it was on. End of story. So when I went away to a summer camp and somebody brought out this game called Starfleet Battles, I was addicted. I took his game. I went and photocopied everything, including the rule book. I put a bunch of the counters on the board. I photocopied them and cut them out. Of course, I didn't have cardboard chits. I had paper chits, which sucked. I photocopied the map. I photocopied everything.
But you made it work, didn't you?
Oh, God, I was addicted to that game.
Yeah.
Star Wars came out. Steve Jackson games, and I was like, oh my God, I love this game. And I had the Midville.
Grimlore, welcome to the show.
The Midville expansion. I had Truck Stop.
For what?
Truck Stop. I had Truck Stop. I had Midville.
Grimoire?
For Car Wars.
Car Wars. Okay, because you're confused. I was like, wait, that sounds like Car Wars, not Grimoire.
I eventually got the product that introduced helicopters. I got the product that introduced like superheroes, like if you wanted to play Marvel superheroes with Star Frontiers rules. I had it all. I friggin' love that game. And you know what I loved about that game was the first auto duel I did in an arena for all my friends. My friend Thad, he won. He basically had already won the auto duel. The other, Darren's character was unconscious. Thad got out of his car, walked over with his pistol, and shot Darren in the head. And I thought, oh my God, that was weird. And this is a friggin' cool game that just happened. And I was sold on the game. And I don't know why, because that's kind of dark, you know.
You know what blew my mind about D&D and RPGs, especially D&D? This is the thing that, and it wasn't me who discovered it, was my buddy Lance. When we kind of got around to really getting into the rules 100%, and we found out that, you know what? We can change anything that we want about this game. Like, we can literally, change the rules. It's not against the rules. It literally says you can change the rules. And we just, as kids, sitting there, at 10, 11 years old going, because remember, we growing up, everything was rule-based. I mean, you had to follow the rules. There was this.
What was the first rule you changed?
First rule that we changed was, oh God, I think
the first rule I scrapped.
I think one of the first rules or mechanics that we modified and or changed or scrapped was, believe it or not, we went ahead and got rid of the female limitations based on sex, because Carolyn, who was my girlfriend at the time, was like, why can't I do this? Because she was a scrapper and she could kick half the boys' asses in middle school. And it was just like, we started kind of adapting with that. And I'm not making a political statement or anything like that. That's legitimately, I think, one of the first things, because we had a female gamer in our group and she was like, oh, come on, guys. Why can't I do, I'm not going to sit there and do this, you know? So,
Well,
yeah.
I started with AT&T with Basic Expert, Moldvay Basic.
Yep.
And of course, we bought all the AD&D rule books as they came in, without a doubt. You know, I mean, the minute Darren got something and I didn't have it, I was like, oh shit, I got to mow some more lawns. I have to get that.
Got to keep up with the Joneses, man.
Got to keep up with Darren. It was awesome. So, you know, the first thing we scrapped was that whole elves can't advance past level 10, because that was a basic expert thing. That was not an AD&D thing.
We nixed back then. Yeah, we mixed off level restrictions is what one of the things we did too.
Oh yeah, I think everybody did. I think absolutely. But then I came across Middle Earth role playing, and I totally got into that for a while because I absolutely loved how Middle Earth role playing did certain things in their rules. Absolutely love that. And so I totally went gaga for Middle, but I only played one Middle Earth role playing game where this one guy was being a pushy SOB and telling everybody else what to do. And then, so we did character creation and he was being a butthole, basically. Yeah. And so then we started the sample adventure they put in the rules. I went ahead and used that. And in the first fight in the sample adventure, he rolled a critical. And so we rolled on the table and it said that you broke your weapon and you shot and you wounded yourself. And so I said, he was using a bow. I said, you broke your bowstring and you shot yourself in the foot. And because he was such a pushy SOB telling everybody else what to do, they all laughed. Yeah. And that was the end of the game for him. He was like, "Rrr!" and it pissed him off. So that was the end of the game. And the game ended, and all these other players who were not committed to the game but thought that was funny had laughed, and it drove him out of the game. And, of course, they didn't come back to the game. So that was the end of my Middle Earth role-playing camp, my first Middle Earth role-playing campaign. It ended that way. But it was funny as hell because everybody laughed at him. I was irritated with the guy, too, the fact that he was so pushy, telling everybody else what to do. And I was like, dude, let it go.
But you know, that was part of the game back then too. You always had the sensitive jerk. You always had the rules lawyer. There was always a rules lawyer, and there was always some guy who felt that everybody should make the game just for him, and kind of like
telling everybody how to create their character.
Yeah.
Ordering how they look. Your character's your thing. Make your character. I don't freaking care. You want to play a wizard? Fine. You want to play a thief? Fine. You want to play a fighter? I don't care. Make your character. And that was what I was after, but he was telling everybody else what to do. You got to do this. You got to do this. Nobody liked it. And when he shot himself in the foot and broke his bowstring, it just, the whole room erupted in laughter. And that was the end of our campaign. But it's a great memory to me. I remember that with fidelity. And I love that memory because that was it. We never saw that guy again. He never came and played D&D with us. He never played any other game with us. Yep. Most of those people were not committed enough to D&D.
No. But in all fairness, that brings a good point. And we've already been on here by an hour and a half.
Oh, have we?
Yeah. But the thing is that brings up an interesting thing, and that is, but also not everybody was into D&D. I knew a lot of people, we'd have people come in and they'd want to really join because they've heard so much about it and they really wanted to get into it. And there was two ways this happened with us. There was the bad way. You get a new gamer, you're happy, they're a really cool guy or gal, and they play a session and they just kind of like not show back up. That's kind of like the bad way. The good way is when you had somebody that prepped before they played. You know, mom and dad made a little money more than the average kid's parents at that time did, and they'd come, you know, I have all the books. They would play, not like the game, and they were like, hey, you want to trade these game books for some baseball cards and football cards? Absolutely. You know? Yes, call me a materialistic bastard who took
Because
advantage.
I
You
would
know,
have been that materialistic bastard right along with you.
that's right, man. You know, they were all at the kitchen table going, after he leaves, hey, can we pull our shit together, man? Get our cards and stuff together. You know, I'll take the DMG. You can have the player's handbook. You know?
Everybody
But-
pulled their lawn mowing money.
Exactly.
My Disney books were bought on lawn mowing money. I was an entrepreneur.
Same thing. Me and my friend Lance McGraw, we had a weekend lawn mowing business.
I mowed lawns and I paid for D&D books with it. End of story. That's how it went.
We
And-
raked leaves, shoveled snow in the winter, and we did one more thing. Tom, did you do this? And you'd never see a kid do this today. And we made more money doing this on a Saturday night than mowing lawns all weekend. You know what we did? During the holidays, we'd go door to door and we'd sing Christmas carols.
Are you kidding me?
Nope. They'd pay you off just to shut you up and get the hell off your porch. They'd do it. You knock on the door, they open the door. Can I help you, young man? Jingle bells, jingle bells. They'd be like, oh, you just see the look on their face. They'd throw you a couple bucks to shut you up.
All
Dead
right.
serious.
Listen, if I ever get access to time travel, you know what I'm going to do.
Do it, buddy. We did it. And I'm not joking. We did it. And, you know, no joke. You'd at the end of the evening for a few hours, you'd be ice cold. But I am not joking. In the early 80s, between me and Lance, we would split easily 70, 80 bucks in an evening. And you know how much money that was back then.
Do you know how many times that would have to happen to me that I would be doing that like every opportunity?
Oh, we did it as a joke. Playing it was I think we started it by a dare by somebody. And after about an hour and the money that we had, and people don't understand something, the newer generation these days, a $20 bill back then, you were rolling in the cash as a 14-year-old or 13-year-old.
Oh, well, you know, I had an uncle who would always give me a McDonald's gift certificate booklet for Christmas.
I remember.
And that amounted to $5 worth of McDonald's for that Christmas. And that was like a meal and a half at $5.
Yeah.
And I thought that was the greatest deal. I looked forward to Uncle George's gift. It would be in a card. It'd be a $5 gift certificate booklet, because you know each certificate in there would be $1, and so you would tear them out and you would present them, because Mom would never buy McDonald's. It was against her religion. We ate Cheerios, we ate cornflakes, and if Mom was letting her hair down, she'd buy Honey Nut Cheerios. Holy shit, that was the thing. Oh my God, Mom bought Honey Nut Cheerios. Holy crap, we're in the money now. And you know, I mean, if Mom ever had a really good coupon for Fruit Loops or something, and you know, that morning my sister would eat 2 bowls, and I'd be like, "Screw you! I'm eating 3 bowls because you're not eating more than me of something that we never get."
Well, you got to figure that was back in the day when you know my mom would give me £2, and on £2 I could go and I could watch a movie, which was like 90 pence to go see a movie, and that remaining £1.10 would go ahead and let me get like a popcorn and a soda. We're talking about £2 British England, you know, equivalent to about probably $2.75, $3 US at the time.
$3
This is
US.
back, yeah,
I
back
agree
in
with
the,
you. Because I lived in England, you know this.
yeah, so did I.
I lived in England in my senior year of high school, which was 1985, 84, 85. And yeah, absolutely. But if you were on an American air base, you had to have American dollars.
Yep.
And you had to have English pounds in your wallet.
Yeah, see, your dad was in the Air Force. You were a base kid. I
Yeah.
wasn't. My dad was retired Army. My dad worked for Fields, which had a Middle Eastern
So
contract. So
you
we
only
lived in
had
the
to
UK.
deal with a British money.
Yeah.
So yeah, £2 absolutely sounds right to me
Yep.
as an American kid who would, because when I turned 18, what was the drinking age?
Yeah. 18.
18. So I went, a couple of the kids from the village took me to the pub, and we had a couple of
And in a lot of classic, I'm talking about the small village pubs. As long as you were tall enough, they would serve you, and you
Yeah.
don't get stupid.
They didn't ID me, but you know what happened was as I was paying for a round of drinks, for a round of bitters for me and my two friends, and I knew I had a £5 note and I had a $5 bill in my wallet, and I accidentally took out the $5 bill, handed it to the
Yep.
bartender, thinking like, yeah, just keep the change as a
Yep.
as a tip.
You
And then
outed yourself, didn't you?
to go back to shooting darts, and the bartender's there looking at this $5 bill like, what the hell? And my friend quickly stepped in and said, he's American, like he's American. It's okay. We brought him here. And I'm I'm sorry. No. Here's a £5 note. And it was totally embarrassing. We finished shooting darts. We drank our bitter. I went home and I was like, you fucking stupid bastard.
Yeah.
My first night drinking legally, and I totally embarrassed myself by trying to pay for a $5 bill for a
And you
£5.
probably pissed off the bartender because you did that.
Yeah, and I gave him a £5 note, and I just didn't even wait for change. I was like, I just wanted to get out of there. I just wanted to walk away from the embarrassment. So he kept the change on the £5 note, which the £5 note was worth more than the dollar bill.
Yes. That was like
84,
like
85.
it was like 50 cents on the dollar more for, I think at that time it was like a buck US was, or a buck pound, or 1 pound was $1.50 US basically.
More or less, yeah.
Yeah.
It actually got down to $1.10 at one point, and so we were like, "Oh shit, we should go buy pounds."
Yeah. That's why my dad when he did his contract, he negotiated. He wanted pounds, because it was being deposited in the UK account pounds, but then he had to transfer the majority of it to the States and get that conversion.
Oh, your dad was crazy like a fox.
Yeah.
He was making out.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's good, and good for your dad. I absolutely, anybody makes out on a deal like that.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Limey bitters. I'll tell you.
Honestly, it was my first drink as an 18-year-old legal drinker. I love bitter. Honestly.
You know what I loved? We lived right outside Leeds, and there was a small pub, and they used to have a thing called an arf and arf. And what an arf and arf is it is a half pint of bitter, and they top it off with usually Guinness or a dark stout of some type. And they call it an arf and arf. And it is this really unique kind of, it's hard to explain, but oh man, it is so good if you go ahead and
you
have
talked
it.
about this to me, and I've said, hey, when we come out, I'll have an arf and arf with you.
Hell yes.
However,
WizardCon, I'm buying one for you.
when I was in England, I actually got addicted to a hard cider.
Did you ever have salt in your beer?
No,
I can't. I couldn't deal with it.
I started drinking woodpecker cider,
Ah,
and
yeah.
I was trying to tell some girl about woodpecker cider. I really love wood, and it just came out wrong here in the States. And I was like, yeah, it's really good, and I was like, oh, dude.
You ever have a woodpecker in your mouth? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, never bring up woodpecker cider in the States ever again.
Yeah.
Just don't. It's not worth it. But yeah, I love woodpecker cider. I love bitter. Dad actually brewed some bitter in the house.
Just a second.
And I enjoyed that. And but then I turned 18, came back to the States to go to college, could not drink. So I was like, that kind of sucked. but certainly I enjoyed turning 18 in
Oh, yeah.
England. And, and a couple of boys from the village. We lived in a little village outside of Hingham, outside of Bury St. Emma called Hingham.
Mhm.
And they had like literally one church, one bar,
Yeah.
and an office. That's it.
Yep.
And that was the little village. And so we went to that little village pub. It was great. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed turning 18 in England.
So
And
welcoming, so
Oh, yeah.
so warm.
The British
Everybody's
people are
family.
awesome. Honestly, the British people are awesome. If you got to go
Yes,
to
they
Europe,
are.
screw every other country in Europe. Go to Britain.
Yep.
Honestly, British people.
Rural Britain. But remember one thing, don't be obnoxious. Remember, you're in their country, their ways, and the best way of handling a pub is you go in and be quiet and look and watch other people what they're doing.
Or you could play darts and beat the pants off of everybody at darts.
Yep.
Because
Or you can even just try to play darts and try to converse with people. And once someone in one of those small pubs knows you're an American, as long as they can quickly figure out you're not the typical quote unquote TV American, loud and obnoxious, man, they will welcome you, and you'll probably be so damn drunk when you walk out because you won't pay for a bit of liquor in there.
Well, let me tell you this. I went to a Catholic school for 3 years, and my parents actually made arrangements for me to still graduate from that Catholic school, even though I would not be meeting all of their requirements. They had a religion requirement.
Yep.
But they were going to treat my year at a public school run by the Department of Defense on an Air Force base in England as a year of foreign study, and they would let me graduate. That was the deal that my parents set up. So here I am, and my government teacher, you had to get through government class to graduate. My government teacher was like, you got to get through me to graduate. And I was like, no, I don't.
Yeah.
So I was a cocky bastard. But he had this saying, if you act like Bubis Americanus, because he was also the senior class advisor.
Yep.
And he was the faculty member taking us on our senior class trip. And our senior class trip was to the Shakespeare's birthplace, to Stratford upon Avon, to watch a Shakespeare play. He says, you embarrass me like a Bubis Americanus, you will not pass my class.
Yep.
And so we got there, and we're dressed nice, and we're looking around, and we see this kid wearing like corduroy pants with a Mickey Mouse T-shirt, and we're all like to each other going, Bubis Americanus.
Yep.
And sure enough, you could spot Americans who did not behave good.
Yeah.
And because he had actually primed the pump by saying, if you behave like Bubis Americanus, you will not pass my class. Even though I didn't have to pass this class because I was going back to the States to graduate from a Catholic high school, and I didn't care. I still behaved a certain way, and I was just as much like everybody else going, Bubis Americanus.
Because you had respect.
Well, yeah. And I liked the teacher. And, the funny thing is that this teacher had a picture of Ted Kennedy you came in through one door to go into the classroom. You went out through the other door. That door had a picture of Ted Kennedy. And eventually somebody asked him, why do you have Ted Kennedy above the door? And he said, because your generation will elect him president. And I thought, what the hell is that? So then I, on my own, went and started researching Ted Kennedy and that informed a lot of how I thought politically coming out of high school.
Yeah.
It made me think critically about what candidates were proposing. I'm not going to vote for this guy just because I live in a state that everybody's Democrat and they're going to vote for Ted Kennedy because he's the golden child. Screw that. I'm going to actually look at people and what they say they are supporting. And so that was how I began to form my critical opinion. And it differed from my father. I did not grow up in a home and just adopt my father's politics, which was very common to people who had grown up in Connecticut, like my father had.
Yeah.
And so it was a very different thing. And so I had a very, very liberal, libertarian mindset from the very beginning. And you cannot accuse that high school teacher of indoctrinating me. He simply made very simple statements that made me think. And I always appreciated that about him. Mr. McCullough was the teacher.
That's also the whole thing about D&D. It just kind of like brings people together who normally would not be together, and it makes you think.
Amen. I agree with that. I am all for, look, if you're gay, don't care. Come and play at my table.
Who cares?
If you're Republican, you're Democrat, come and play at my table. Behave yourself. If you're Democrat, piss off the Republicans. If you're
there you go.
Piss off the Democrats. And if you're a libertarian, look, I got your number. Don't piss off everybody else.
That's the point. Yeah, and that's the whole thing. Behave. Let's all be a bunch of friends. Let's all game. We're here for a common thing. Let's all enjoy ourselves, and let's leave the bullshit at the door.
Yeah.
Get in your pickup truck, get in your car, and go.
And you're all for AI, okay. But if you're Chinese and you're not all for AI, you're also welcome. Absolutely. But you know what? Let's be kind to each other. Let's not be assholes.
And you know what? That is a good note to end this show on.
Amen.
It's going on 2 hours. All right, Tom. Awesome evening, man.
Hey, it was great talking with you, John.
Yeah, and everybody in the chat.
I'm going to need a text message from you. Who are you voting for?
Exactly. Yeah, I must. We're going to have a session 0 after we get off this show here.
And I don't care because we're a constitutional republic, because whoever you vote for has no impact on who my state supports.
Well, I'll just be blunt here. I'm going to tell you exactly who I'm voting for this next election. 2024 November, Mickey Mouse for president.
All right. I'm not voting for Mickey Mouse, so screw you. But
Can't be friends.
You know what? I know you don't care. So there you go.
All right, guys, everybody in the chat, thank you very much for sticking around and getting all the chat and everything. Without you guys, again, this show would be nothing. You guys really add the content. You get us down rabbit holes we normally not get around, and we very much appreciate it.
Well, we rabbit holed at the end, so whatever.
Exactly. You know what? But it was fun. And you know what? We kept an audience doing it. So see, people do reminisce. People, I think, can relate more than they can. You know what I mean?
Hey,
so everybody.
Memories of high school. I love memories of gaming.
Amen.
I appreciate everybody who actually contributed to that.
Absolutely.
And Worldwide Goji Kai, you rock, dude.
Grimlore, thank you very much. Scott Mulder, thank you very much. Oh, geez, who am I missing? Well. Terry R., the Science Mile. Who else Foogly. I mean, I can go ahead and I can go on and on.
Yeah,
Holly Mac 79.
How can you not love Foogly?
Yep. So everybody, you all have a good Labor Day weekend. Stay safe. If you have a long weekend, throw some gaming in there. And to those of you who did ask a question about if we ever start a game, many things are going to start transpiring now, and maybe start getting maybe a once every couple week game going. That'd be great. So again, yeah. So everybody, you guys all have a good weekend. And I am Don.
This is Tom.
And this is the Vlog of Many Things signing off. And everybody, have yourselves a good night.